Welcome to the Wexford Football League show. On tonight's show, myself and Nicky are joined on the sofa by Mr. David Dodd, better known as Doddser. Welcome to the show, Doddser.
Thanks, lads.
It's good to have him in, Nicky. We're going to have a chat about his time at Wexford Bohs, and he's going to help us throughout the show tonight.
Yeah, good to have Doddser in. Well, we'll see after the show how good it's going to be. See, will he give us any juicy gossip throughout it? But no, it's great to have him in, another guest in, and look, we're all trying to just promote the league.
You're like myself and Nicky. You've stepped away from management this year. Nicky's gone to full-time retirement. I'm gone back over an underage team. You in full-time retirement from coaching, or you plan to get back in at some stage?
At the moment, I'm a full-time taxi driver, more or less, at the weekends, and a very bad golfer. So full-time retirement, no. I have a few things I'd like to finish up before I'd go into full-time retirement, but at the moment I'm enjoying the break, and hopefully somewhere along the line someone will give me a chance to get back at it. And
if you get back in it, does it have to be Wexford Bohs, or are you open to other clubs?
That's a tough one. Obviously if Wexford Bohs are going well and the managers are going well, and you wouldn't expect just because I just said, all right, I'm coming back in, that you're going to jump back into the shoes. But
it'd be hard to sack Nicky. He's only had one game so far, and he won that 3-0. So
he hasn't had a league game yet.
No, so
no. Because you don't know what's around the corner. So we'll take it. We'll take a year out and we'll see where we'll go after that. And
so, how long ago is it since you started, or what way did you come about getting involved?
At management?
Well, in general, with football, I suppose.
Oh, Jesus. I kind of always played football up through schoolboys and stuff like that. And a couple of my mates were going down to play with Wexford Bohs at the time, and I used to knock around Wexford Bohs with my uncles, Flood and Flood and them boys. And I went down training in 1992 and still here.
It's a good long time ago, all right?
Yeah, so...
At 26 years of age, you took on chairmanship at the club. That's a young age to be taking such a big role. Wexford Bohs, big club in Wexford Town. How did that go for you?
It was a very young age, I suppose, at the time to take on such a role like that. But similar to what the club is at now, there was older lads running the club, and it was going nowhere. Do you know what I mean? It was selling 20-minute tickets at the weekend to keep the fundraising going for the club. One set of jerseys every 5 years. And I just said, Jesus, lads, we're after winning 2 Wexford Cups, we're after winning the Premier League, and we're up around the top of the league every year. We haven't got a shilling. So I was on the committee for a couple of years, and the chairman stepped down, and I said, myself and Paul Roche just decided there and then we give it a lash. We'll try and make it into a bigger and better club, and fresher, younger voices at the time.
How long were you chairman?
I think it was about 10 years for the first time, and then I stepped off for a couple of years, and then I was back in again for 2 or 3.
So you had a good spell at it then, in fairness to you.
Yeah, so. And at the time we were down in Killeen, and we'd very little to pay out, or rent down there was low and stuff like that, and we kind of knew it was never going to be that wasn't going to be the final. We needed to move on, and we needed to move somewhere else. And parking was becoming an issue down there. The residence was becoming an issue. Balls were getting more popular.
That's the ground with Park Hotspur as well?
Yeah, that was the ground with Park Hotspur down that place. It was a lovely surface, but it was never going to be, full time. It was never going to be hours kind of thing. They were never going to sell. So we needed to move on there, and there was grants out there available. And to be honest with you, the older lads in the club just weren't interested in pushing on like that. I could tell you a story about one of our AGMs where it was called out that the bank balance was £24.57. That was at the end of the year. So at least we weren't in debt, I suppose, at the end of it. But at the very end of the meeting, the dad spot now, Paul and Jason's dad, and obviously all their dads, but he put his hand up at the end of the meeting and he said, lads, I'm just wondering, what are we doing with the £24? We go to the Brady's and drink it. And that
was the mentality.
That was the mentality at the time. You know, what are we going to do with £24? We might as well drink it. That was the mentality at the time. You know, and like there was a lot of characters in and around the club at the time. Good characters, you know, funny lads, and you know they're all good lads. But it wasn't moving forward, so we kind of had to move it forward at the time, and we did. We got to a certain stage, and then it stalled again. But sure, look.
And the ground now out in Streamline,
Out in Streamline now, yeah.
You involved with moving out there, or?
No, well, I was involved with the moving out there originally. That was part and parcel of my chairman's job, and we had bought, typical of the Bohs, look, we had bought in dressing rooms with showers and the whole shebang from Poland at the time. I think it cost £16,000 or something along the lines of that, which was a lot of fundraising for a club who hadn't really been good at fundraising. So we got these in anyway, and we got them up and running, and sure they were there a year, and the guy who won the land came and said, lads, you have a year's notice, you're out. So we had to take these apart, get them over to, find a new pitch first, get these over there, get them back together. But sure, once you know yourself, you knock something down, it's quite hard to rebuild it the second time. So it was never really, you know, so that was about 10, 12 years ago now, I think, since we moved over there. So.
And what made you then move from the chairmanship into management? And how did that come about?
I was kind of finished playing, and I needed a break from the committee side of things. I was on it, but it was, you know, it was stale to me. It was, you know, just fed up with it. And my first introduction to management was an unusual one. I went up to Moyne one Sunday to see the A-team play. We were struggling bad in the season that year. We had 5 points on the board. And I got to the car park, and one of the lads said to me, you may manage the team. The managers that are falling out with a few of the players, and he's gone home. So we beat Aidan's crowd. And we went on a bit of a run, and I had a chat with Nicky, and I said to him, you're coming down to us next week midweek. I said, what sort of a side are you bringing down? And he said, what, we're not looking for a favour off me? I said, no, I'm not looking for a favour, I'm just looking for a bit of information. So when I seen the bus coming in, with the Shamrock Rovers glass getting off, I figured that they were either too young to drive or whatever, so we won that game too. So
we both set you up on your managerial career, so we did.
So we won 5 in a row, so that put us into a playoff with Kirklow to stay in the Premier.
Yeah.
And we beaten Kirklow in the game to give us or make us to get 20 points. And then we played Kirklow in a playoff down in Sinnestown Lane the next Sunday, and we won that instead up. So that was my introduction to manager. 6 games unbeaten.
Jeez, you nearly like Ole Gunnar.
It didn't last too long though. I don't think we won 6 games for the whole of the next season. But yeah, so that was it. We got relegated the next season. We were down to Division 1. Tommy Byrne and Davey took over then, and I was kind of floating around. I was hoping the lads would give me a shot of even on the backroom staff at there, and they brought in a guy from Marklow. I think they were more after his son than they were after Willie. So they pushed me down to the B. Well, they didn't push me down. They just said go down to the B team with Leighton and Stephen for the year. We went down. We done well in the league. I think we finished 2nd or 3rd in the league, and we won the Gwyn Jones Cup. And it's the Gwyn Jones Cup, and I not want to take any respect away from the trophy or anything, but it was a lower division cup. But it was really something that Wexford Bohs needed at the time. Was any bit of success. Any day out in Ferrycarrig was what was really needed. So the first team that year stayed up by the skin of their teeth. I think they beat Kirklow again to stay in Division 1. And it came down to the AGM, and chairman came to me and he says, your names that have been put forward for the first team job. And to be honest with you, I didn't really want it, to be honest with you. I didn't think I was ready for it. And I said, no, I think you should settle down now and stop appointing managers at the AGM. Have a chat about it. Have a talk to older members of the club and see what they come about. He came back to me a week later and said, you're the only names being touted around. You're the first team manager. So at that stage, I didn't have enough experience. I really didn't. I knew what was needed. I wanted to get us back to Premier. I wanted us to win a few more trophies. I liked the feeling of winning, even though it was a lower division cup. I liked it, and
can't beat that feeling.
Penalty shootout, it was exciting, and you know, I was working with my cousin Stephen and Leighton Welsh. We had a good bond there. didn't really want to leave the two boys, to be honest with you. I liked the group of lads that was there. But then when I had the opportunity to take on the first team, I turned it down. But I needed somebody. I needed to get on to the kind of level of used two boys and John Godkin and that sort of stuff. And I knew I was way below it, you know what I mean? So I needed somebody with me that would help me get the respect that I needed to get. So Mark Goodison was kind of my number one target, you know? And Mark doesn't. Yeah, he is. He
so
is.
level as well, isn't he? Do you know,
he's level. He's he just takes no shit.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? He just kind of, he'd look at you if you said something, you know by his eyes whether you're right or wrong.
Yeah.
Do you know? So Mark came in. I knew. I could tell you straight up. Mark didn't trust me. You know, he didn't. So that was even better for me again because I had to nail down harder. Do you know what I mean? I had to get in players to prove to Mark that I was really on board with this, that I wasn't a messer, I wasn't a joker. Do you know? So I had to go full belt. And Mark was kind of, I'd ring him 3 times in the one day, and Mark would be going, my phone hasn't rang 3 times in the one day. What are you wanting again? Like, do you know? And he would be that blunt with you, like, what are you wanting now? Yeah. And I'd be just, what about this player? What about this? And you know what I mean? And Mark kind of couldn't believe it really, how into it I was. And look at it, went well for us. We won Division 1.
He's had success, like he's won Division 1, he's won the Wexford Cup.
Yeah, we won Division 1, and we had a good run in the FAI Junior Cup that year for a Division 1 side, you know, which gave us a bit of leeway as regards games going forward. So our run into the season was good. We had a lot of games, but we had a decent squad set up. So we won Division 1, and that moved us into the Premier then the next year or so.
So, Doddser, when you're in management, like obviously we've both been there and on the sideline with you. The pluses, the minuses, what were the good things? What were the bad things for you as a manager?
Team selection, I'm not sure if every manager likes it or every manager likes it or dislikes it, but I always found that as a bit of an issue. I was picking teams on Monday for the following Sunday, and it changed every day. And as you go along, are you being fair to lads? You try to be as fair as you can to lads. You want to put your best team out. I never liked being unfair to lads, but you had to pick each team to win that game. So that was probably a minus to it. Obviously, winning the games are always a plus, but I really enjoyed learning in the coaching side of things. I always enjoyed watching coaches. Conor Maguire was with me for a while. Denny Carty was with me for a while. I enjoyed watching their sessions. Roy Doyle was, like myself, willing to learn. So going to training every week then didn't seem like a chore to me.
Yeah.
Couldn't wait to get down there. You know, so that kind of thing was a plus. You make a lot of friends in football, don't you? Like there's players in there 20 years younger than me, 30 years younger than me. Some of them, and I go for a pint with them now, no bother. And it's just because we bonded over soccer, and they're all big pluses into it, you know. And
just on the bonding and the closeness of players, how did you feel, say, when the two guys left to go to North End this year after a bit of a sticky one for you know? But how did you feel? I suppose after you're building there, and I suppose you presumed that when Goggy was finished with North End that thing was going to stop.
Yeah, we did, yeah. But the two boys they're told they're two different scenarios in the sense that Keane wasn't really with Wexford Bohs last year, but we expected him when he came back to Wexford that if he didn't make it to Wexford FC that he would play with us. So that was a bit disappointing that he didn't come back to us. Like, I don't know what the end game is for the two boys up at North End. Are they edging towards a shot out in Wexford FC by playing at North End at a higher level for the season, or are they just going to North End to win trophies? I don't know what their end game, because I was gone out of the job by the time
they came in.
They came in, so I didn't really feel the right to ring Kieran or ring Keane and saying what he is at or what's going on here. That was somebody else's job at that stage. Keane going to North End. If you're managing North End, you just build your team around. Like, you've Gary Delaney at the back, you've Spot Murphy and where you want to play him. You build your team around that, don't you? Like, I don't really see where Keane is getting into this long term. Do you know what I mean? I don't see him getting in. Like, you're not going to build your team around two players. You're not building it around Keane and the Spot, are you? Like, so, like, that's not changing for a year or two yet, is it really? Like, I don't see why he thought he was going up there to this, and if Wexford FC is his end game on that, I just don't see where that's working out for him. Kieran's a different scenario. Be disappointed with Kieran in the sense that he was club captain last year. Didn't have his best season for us last year. He'd probably tell you that himself, but he's full of ability.
Yeah,
he's a lovely chap. Do you know what I mean? He's a tough nut to crack. He's a tougher character than a lot of people think, just because of his size. He won't take, he won't take no verbal up there, and he'll stand up for himself. So look, I wish Kieran the best. I told him I was disappointed that he was leaving the club, and I wished him the best going up there. What happens after this year is, as I say, I don't know. I don't know the answer to that, but disappointed, yes. Surprised, was with Keane. Wasn't so much surprised with Kieran, but I was very disappointed that the two of them decided to leave the Bohs, yeah.
Yeah, well, just on what you've done with Bohs, I'd just say fair play to you. Like, as you said, you got them back up to the Premier, you won a Wexford Cup, and now they will be one of the top teams in the Premier. They've always been a difficult team to come up against, so I'd just say fair play to you on doing that.
Yeah, look, thanks for that, Dodger. You're going to stay with us for the rest of the evening, try to keep this fella under control. It's hard now because he likes to listen to himself. We're going to move on now to the FAI.
You like to look at yourself, that's what you get stressed up.
Make an effort, Nicky, you should try it. We've the FAI results, the only games that took part the weekend, both youths and the men's. We're going to start with the men's game Sundays. Ross Celtic beating Killery 5-2. But it was actually a great day for the Wexford teams, actually. Clody beating Castlewarren 5-2. The All Division 2 clash between Joseph and Kilmore. Kilmore winning 3-2 out in Kilmuckridge. And the only defeat, I think, for Wexford Club was Cora getting bet 2-1 by Highview. The game you were at, Nicky, North End, continuing another great start under Denny Cardy with a 4-1 win again. I suppose the Carlow champions, I think they won 2 trebles up in Carlow the last 2 years. New York, I know they were missing a few with GA commitments, but still another cracking win for North End.
No, cracking win for North End, but if New York is the level that Carlow League is, what they had on Sunday, that league mustn't be too strong. I'd say no. I expected a lot more out of them coming down. I actually thought there would have been a test for North End, but North End could have won 7-8-0 even. Like, they were absolutely cruising throughout the game. Owen Rhodes was exceptional. He could have had 2 hat-tricks. Skinny, we just talked Kieran Page, he was excellent as well. And look at North End, just they were strong all over the pitch. Gary Delaney probably disappointed giving away the penalty in the last minute. While it was soft, I thought it was lazy from Gary, really. Like a player of his experience. North End hadn't conceded a goal up until that, and I thought it was just more laziness out of Gary. Maybe it was because it was his first 90 minutes back of the season, but look, North End, if they keep going the way they're going, they'll definitely be a force throughout Wexford. And the one thing I actually took out of it, I actually thought the trio officials were very, very good. You Pat Sinnott in the middle, you Garrett Larkin and Darren Keaton, and whether it was a North End player or a New Oak player, they spoke to him, they had a smile on their face. They actually, like, for bad conditions down there, I thought the three of them done really well. They had a word with everybody, and if they stick together as a trio, I think they could do very, very well together. Like, I know if I was managing, I'd be more than happy to see the three of them walking in a big game, because I thought they'd done an excellent job.
Dodger, you're from Wexford, you probably know that North End players personality-wise a bit better than myself and Nicky. I see there last week, from seeing them last week, they look hungry. I don't think they'll be touched in Wexford personally from what I've seen. I know Nicky was saying about New York, but they're still one of the top teams around, beating them 4-1. The only thing I can see maybe hindering Denny is you have a massive squad of players that probably, you could argue, the second 11 he could put out would hold their own in the Premier. How will he be able to cope with that, keeping them all them happy, and how do you think that'll go for him?
Keeping him happy is something he's going to have to ask Goggy. How did he work his magic over the years? But I'm sure Denny is well clued into that. The big issue I could see, well, it's not a big issue, but it will become an issue if they hit a defeat. In the sense that Denny doesn't like losing. I know there's a lot of players up there don't like losing. So it's how to react to their first defeat.
Yeah,
is going to be huge for him. Do you know what I mean?
It's a honeymoon period at the minute. Well, they're all in love.
Look at the 4 or 5 good wins this season, and they have to really, they haven't come up against their Gories or anything yet. Now, New Oak Boys was a good win. I talked to Dale Lacey, who's part of the club up in Carlow, on Saturday up at the Mary's game, and he said that the new work we're doing a few, so I wasn't really expecting the result to be any different. But by all accounts, I haven't seen Northend yet this season. By all accounts, Denny hasn't playing well. There is a big panel up there. He has young lads. He did say that to me when he was going. He did tell me he was going to manage the B team, not the A team. But he said he was going to be all about youth, and he has young Maloney in, which he's an excellent chap. So he has him in. Seems to be in on the right side or right back or somewhere.
Him and Joseph on the other side,
in and around that. So look at Denny's well educated into the soccer. He'll have to deal with that himself. That's the management side of things. He has a good lad beside him in John Foley. Yeah, John's calm and
level-headed,
always level-headed. So where Denny I can see flip off, and I've seen it happen over the last couple of 2 years when he's been with me, John can sit him down, and so they have a good
could be a good team together, the two of them.
Yeah, they have a good setup there. But look, again, a couple of volatile characters in the group that could kick off if they're not in the team, and could kick off if they lose a game. But hopefully the managers are behind them, and they can go well for the year, and see how it goes, if it doesn't.
Yeah, we're going to go now. We've clips of the game and a few interviews after it.
Sure, I thought the game went well, but sure, like we were on top from the start to the finish, and Newell I didn't think they had much about them, to be honest with you. You got a lucky penalty there in the end, I thought, but all in all, it was a good 3 points, or not even 3 points, for through to the next round, and that's to do for us.
I thought we controlled the game well first half, came out the blocks fast. Second half, we got an early goal and kind of killed the game at 3-0. After that, a couple of changes, composed, controlled the game. Sloppy goal conceded, and then the game kind of got a bit shaky. Towards the end, the fourth goal just killed it off for us. So happy enough with the win and into the next round.
New boys came here with a fantastic reputation. Treble winners last 2 seasons up there, both. I know they were struggling with numbers with GA commitments in Carlow. Not just Carlow and Laois, so they get caught with both GAs. So they were under strengths today, and they'll go well in Leinster. I'm under no illusions about what we've done so far this season. We play the way we play. I have a certain philosophy on the game. Attack is the best form of defence, and that's how we work. And you can't beat hard work, and our lads are working hard.
See that there. Just one thing I want to pick up on Denny saying about hard work, or Denny I should say, about the hard work. That's one thing impressed me last week of Northend. They really worked hard. It looked like they have their hunger back. And see Owen Rhodes getting another hat-trick. It's going to be hard for any team to stop him and spot Anna when they're in that sort of form.
Yeah, definitely. I look at it, like Owen is 6'3", 6'4", like he's big lump of a chap. He carried Cole around your ass from the age of 5 or 6, so he's a big strong chap as well. But no, look at he's well able to play football, and they have a load of lads around him that can create chances. If you look at, he was just on the end of 4 or 5 of them finishing from the penalty spot. Like, you know, he was passing the ball into the net. So obviously that comes from work rate around him, people pulling players to create space for him. So that was the big thing. I thought their movement off the ball, I was very impressed with.
The final result in the FAI Cup was Wexford Bohs beating Lions 3-0. I think Lions playing the Kilkenny League when they're up in Durham, County Laois. And on the line now we have Wexford Bohs manager Nicky Hynes. Welcome to the show, Nicky.
How are you doing, man?
So it was your first game of the season. I'll ask you that question later. How'd you pull it off not to play till last week in September? But were you happy enough with your first game?
No, it was actually our second game. Our first game was against Rathcoole in the Leinster Senior. But yeah, we were happy enough with both results now, to be fair. Like, you know, scoring 4 goals and 2 clean sheets. So considering what we're missing with the GA, and I was very happy with the results.
Yeah. And your first league game this week was good, I suppose, to get a game in before that, wasn't it? And the weather wasn't great, but you managed to get the game played anyway. Yeah,
it was definitely important to get the game in, you know, especially for the lads. There's a lot of these lads that probably haven't played at this level really yet. So it was important for the boys to get, you know, a couple of games under the belt, and that confidence, especially with the 2 wins and 2 clean sheets, will give them a lot of confidence. To be fair to the lads, considering again, like I said, like the amount of lads that were missing through GA, the lads that have come in have done absolutely brilliant for us, so you can't complain about them at all now.
How are you, Nick? It's Nicky here.
Hi, Nicky.
How are you keeping?
Not too bad,
Good. Haven't seen you in a while. No, just well, will the nerves start kicking in for the game coming up Sunday? I know the league games will start coming thick and fast for you. So, how are you fixed for the weekend?
Yeah, look, we'll be pretty much like that. We'll be pretty much set up the same. We won't have a whole lot back. There's a possibility we might have Shane Hall and Shane Bergen back, but Shane Hall is actually carrying an injury now. So I'd say it will be pretty much the same lineup. We won't have a whole lot more back. But look at, like I said, the lads that have come in have done absolutely brilliant. They've put a serious amount of work in pre-season. And, they've really stepped up to, took a lot on board. So, like, all you can deal with is what you have on the day, really. Like, and looking forward to the Cross the Bay game. It'll be a step up from the 2 games we've already played. Cross the Bay it'll be a better side than what we've played there so far. Yeah. And the 2 games have been on the AstroTurf, so it'll be nice to get back on the grass as well.
We've Doddser here with us, Nicky. We were just speaking to him about your 2 of the better players leaving the club there to go to North End. How have you dealt with that as a squad, or has it been tough, or has it been straightforward?
Look, to be honest, like, obviously you don't want to be losing players, but like, I haven't focused on it at all. We haven't talked about it. All I said to the lads on every day and every training session, I'm not worrying about who's not there. Nothing I can do about it. So we're only focusing on the lads that are there, that are putting in the work in pre-season. That's all I'm worried about. And, like I said, you always want to keep your best players and you want your best 11 out in the field every day, but that's not always possible. Like, and all you can do is ask for the best from the lads that you have.
Yeah. It's your first time over the first team, edit. You used to do the youths and you were over the B team. How you find the first team? It's a bit more 24/7, I think, isn't it? Yeah,
it's a different level, alright. Like, it's a different level in terms of the amount of personalities and that you kind of have to deal with, and different ways of dealing with these men and such. Like, but at the same time, the squad we have at the moment is quite young. Like the 11 we had out starting on Sunday, I think the average age was 23, and 2 of those were 35 years of age. So it is a young team at the moment. Like, so they're very willing. Like, they're not difficult at the moment anyhow. And it was good to get the 2 wins because it makes it a little bit easier. Like I said, Cross the Bay will be another level. Like, they're not a bad side at all. We want to bounce back from a bad defeat there last year, but all in all, I'd say we'll be ready for them. Like, we'll be prepared, but it will be a step up from what we played already.
All right, cheers, Nicky, and all the best. And you have big shoes to fill in. Doddser have done a great job there the last couple of years. So
that's for sure. Big shoes.
Yeah.
I'll be there Sunday, Nicky, staring at you like you have been with me for the last 4 years.
And I hope he doesn't hit you a headbutt in the back with the size of Doddser's head here.
All right, cheers, Nicky.
Best of luck, Nicky. Mind yourself. Thanks.
And on Saturday, man, we had the Youth FAI Cup games. Or Leinster Youth games, I should say. We had a Wexford one came and Rosslare winning that one 3-0. And we had Gorey Rangers, a great win, 4-0 against Arklow. Gorey are very powerful on their edge. And we had Ferns, unfortunately, got beat by Thomastown. With Thomastown, we one of the top teams in Kilkenny.
They're very forward thinking up there, Thomastown, aren't they? Yeah.
And then this one, I think, is surprised everyone. I think Gorey Celtic with a cracking win again, the Giants of South East football and Evergreen. I think that's very impressive, isn't it?
I think Evergreen, if I'm not mistaken, won the under-17 Leinster last year, so they'd have been up to 18 now this year. So that's a gigantic result for Gorey Celtic. Fair play to them.
Yeah, and then we had you gone to me last week for calling a 7-1 game a Trailer, Nicky, but this is a Trailer 6-5. Castle Dockrell. 2 of us have tipped to maybe win the local Premier Division here again at Tye Town, who I know myself from playing over the mine youths years ago at Tye were always strong and took this competition very serious, so it's a great win for them, 6-5.
Yeah, it looked like a belter. 2 goalkeepers are having nightmares though, I'd say.
Just like yourself.
Yeah,
when you're in
I had many of them.
And then we had another Wexford game, Wexford Albion beating Adamstown 3-1. Wexford Albion Doddser, would they be strong this year?
Youth side, I'd imagine they would be. They're under 16s. Their under 16s have been. Albion are going nicely. They had a bit of a fall out there last year. There seemed to be a bit of divide in the club now this year, and they've a gap in their under 14s, which is unusual for a club to get so many kids in. They've no under 14 team, so I believe this year. But Albion are usually pretty strong. They have a bit of a link with the Bohs lately. We've got a lot of players off Bohs or off Albion in the last couple of years. So
even now, when they have the men's team themselves as well.
Yeah, there was. Well, have they still got the men's team?
No,
it's gone
again.
Yeah, you see, they can't seem to get a pitch that's anywhere close to town. And there was talks of because we have land down there that the Albion were going to come in with Wexford Bohs as kind of take on the second pitch down there for their youth team, and that would fall in together. Now, I don't know, that's about a year ago we were talking about this. I don't know how the talks are still going on about that, but it would be something to look for the future, and it certainly would financially to make sense to get in there and to get a decent training facility going down there.
The final result in the FAIU Cup, I think this one shows again how strong youth football is in Wexford, with Bridge Rovers beating Freebooters 3-1. Again, Freebooters in the city Kilkenny will be very strong. I think they would have expected to win this one.
And it was away, so it's a massive result, yeah. So
Bridge Rovers, another team that have been very strong on their age the last few seasons, in fairness.
Keep on saying it, growing population, Castlebridge, you know, you look at the Shells, how big the GA club is growing down there, and like Wexford Town is expanding out that area, so it's a growing area.
Yeah.
Donald Maiden is the manager
in fairness,
of that Bridge Rovers
brilliant,
side, and I've got to know Donald a bit. He's Alex's manager on the county under 12s, and if you thought the two of you boys are pulling strokes, Donald is well above the two of you and his parents pulling strokes.
Never pulled a stroke in my life. I was getting schooled by Nicky and Goggy.
Stop for fuck's sake.
We move on then. On the line now, we've Ross Celtic legend Dick Butler, who's going to chat to us about an interesting event the club have coming up. And if anyone have anything in their club coming up that they'd like to talk to us about, they can get in contact with us, and it's a part of the show we're going to feature from now on. Welcome, Dick. How are you?
Hello, boys. How's things?
How are you, Dick?
Nicky Murphy here and Doddser here with us.
I wouldn't say a legend now, lads. So look,
Sure, you were handed an award at the start of this year, was it? A lifetime award, was it?
Yeah, that's usually for somebody that wants to put out the pasture, maybe, like, you know.
Well, maybe that's what the boys are saying down to you.
yeah, maybe, like, you know, I'm saying to you, like, you know, but sure, look.
So I believe you have a fundraiser coming up for Halloween, Dick. You want to get the word out there about?
We have two things on over the Halloween period. We have an old Halloween fancy dress there. We're going to try and raise a few balls for the club. So we're after incorporating a few of the players to kind of participate in our video that we're going to launch and try and generate a few balls for the club. And we have another one then for the schoolboy section around Christmas, where we actually got good prizes, and most of them are all sponsored. Like, we have tickets for Manchester United, for any Manchester United fan out there. We have a signed jersey for Martin O'Neill. We have gift vouchers and food vouchers. So it's a handy way just making money for the club, as you know, like, it's, especially in these days, like, you know yourself, every club needs a few bob, like, you know.
Yeah, and I follow you on Facebook there a good bit. Your Facebook's fairly good. You actually get well supported by the businesses in Ross, in fairness, don't you, as a club?
Well, to be fair to the people in the town, like, you know what I'm saying to you, like, it's and the people that are involved, like, we have a bunch of young fellas this year, like James Keogh, Tommy McGarr, like, that are involved in the club. We've formed a fundraising committee that are mostly women that are involved in the club, and to be fair to them, they've taken the reins in relation to setting a goal, setting a target of what we're looking for, say, this year, and try and achieve it. And it's going well for us, like, to be fair. The sponsorship in relation to the shops, the localities, yeah, like, everybody seems to be buying into it. Everybody seems to be happy. We're giving them a small bit of publicity on our website. And it's hard enough out there with things the way it is at every other organisation. But yeah, it's fabulous, like, to be fair, from the shops, the people that are do supporting us, like, you know.
Yeah, thanks for that, Dick. And we all wish us the best with it.
Best of luck, Dick. Mind yourself.
Best of luck. Cheers, lads.
Right.
Bye-bye.
Cheers. We move on now. We have another new feature of the show where we're going to feature a club every week, and this week we're going out to Ballywilliam to Shelburne.
My name is Kevin Cowman. I'm the chairman of Shelburne Soccer Club here. Our club was founded in 1971 under the ash tree in Ballywilliam. Our grounds are currently located here in Ballywilliam. We've had numerous pitches around that area over the years, but this is our home now. We've settled here, and yeah, the club itself, there's probably teams from under sixes right up to adult level, both in boys and girls, and we have 3 senior teams. We have 2 men's teams, an A and B team, and we have a senior ladies team. Overall, I suppose we probably have the bones of 300 members in the club. We celebrated our 50th anniversary 2 years ago during COVID. It was a massive success. We brought back a lot of past players. I suppose, speaking of past, we're probably about 1,000 people that have come through this club since we founded in 1971. At the moment, we're trying to buy some new land beside us here and develop our grounds, put in an AstroTurf and a second and third pitch. As you can imagine, with the underage is very, very busy up here. We're trying to extend our car parks as well. So Saturday and Sundays up here is very, very busy with underage, and then on Sundays with the adult level. Probably won everything that was to be won in the game over the years. We have 2 Bank of Ireland Cups. We won in the 80s. We've won probably every division in the league. We currently stand in Division 1 with our A team, and our B team is in Division 4B. Our ladies team's in Division 1. And I suppose our most successful year to date was, I think it was 2021-22 season, where our men's A and B won both their leagues. Our ladies won the league, our under-18s won the league, and I think the other team was our under-16s, and they won the league. We clean sweep for that year with whatever players that were playing due to COVID. So yeah, as I said, it's a busy place. It's growing and growing all the time. That's about it, really. We're hoping to get a bit of a run this year in Division 1, and yeah, looking forward to the season ahead.
Well, Nicky, that was Kevin Cowman telling us all about Shelbourne. They're an impressive club, in fairness to them. They've built a great facility out there in a relatively small enough village, and Ratnew right beside them doing well as well, in fairness. So it's great to see clubs like that. Did they mean a club years ago, Doddser, that had some great teams over the years?
I have a bad vibes on Shelbourne, considering they put us out of the FAI Junior Cup last year. So
Let me tell you,
Just knock Nicky out of Wexford Cup.
I've worse.
That's what I was
I was having nightmares there looking at that, to be honest with you. Jesus, I hate the place. Well, actually, we went down there twice to play in the cup against them, and we went down with a really, really strong Rovers team a few years ago, and it took us to extra time. A real frosty morning. Johnny Appleseed was refereeing it, and no way should the game have ever been played, but it was played that morning anyway, and they took us to extra time. But we didn't have the privilege of that last year to knock us out of the cup. So look, I was really impressed with them today. I went down there last year. All the players came out fully kitted out. They did 1 million cones, did 50 footballs. Like they're doing great work. And from what I hear, they're after buying the land at the back, and they're looking to try and do a bit of development with an Astro pitch and all down there. So it's great for a club, small area, to be such forward thinking.
It broke my heart last year in the sense that I have a few mates that I got Liverpool games with from down Newmarket Celtic down in Clare. And we were always saying, geez, we'd love to play as in a game, and we've tried to organise a few pre-season friendlies, but GA always gets in the way of that. But we had one game to go last year to get out of the region, and we kicked Shelbourne from pillar to post, to be honest with you. And they scored a 45-yard screamer just before half-time, and that was the end. We just could not score. And in fairness, similar to that, what you said, Nicky, they were very well organised that day. Our pitch wasn't in great shape that day. They took their warm-up elsewhere over to the far side to dry land, and they made sure that they got on with it, because a lot of people come to our place and they just do as we tell them. They weren't having that. They were set up. They were playing their possession games, and the same as a proper good Premier team did play. I will say, I was out in Bridge Rovers a couple of weeks ago. Alex was doing a trial out there of some description, and I went up to have a look at him playing Bridge Rovers, and they weren't good on that end of the first game of the season, but maybe that was down to GEA. But
yeah,
generally
beaten by Glyn as well. So
yeah,
but the longer season goes, I think the tougher to get, don't they?
Yeah, they were toughness to crack last year, and Fairness had a good season, so they could well build on it.
I look, they're a club that try to do things the right way, and we wish them all the best on the field
definitely.
and off the field. We have another caller now, and we have a former All-Ireland winner with the Wexford Football League in the Youth Inter-League competition when Garrett Larkin was over the team, and he's now playing with Galway, but he's on loan to Cobh currently. Hello, Mikey, how are you?
Hi, Aidan, how's things?
Not too
Nicky,
bad.
all right?
How are you, Mikey?
You have a Doddser here too from Wexford Bohs.
Are you, Mikey?
Doddser, how are you?
Haven't seen you in a good week now at this stage.
I know.
before, Mikey, we get into your current situation with Cobh and Galway, I suppose first thing I want to ask you, it took maybe an unusual route of going out to college football in America. Just how did that come about, and how did you enjoy it out there?
Yeah, I suppose it was. I suppose it's becoming more and more popular now, but at the time, it definitely was an unusual route. I suppose I was playing with Camp Oil up until I was 18, and then went to Watford for a season and a half, and then I kind of that transition from 19th to first team football was proven probably more difficult than I thought it would be, and I wasn't getting regular first team games with the first team. I knew, for my own sake and my own career, I needed to do something different than sit on a bench here, because it's look, I suppose we're one of the only countries in the world, when you think about that, we've no 21s league, no 23 league, or no reserve league. So a lot of lads kind of fall into that trap between 19s and first team football. So yeah, it came about in 2015 now, actually, so it's a long time ago, but yeah, that's how it kind of came about, and that's the route I took. So yeah.
What's the standard over there? Like, I know when we were talking to Kevin Dial, I know he was playing at the highest level over there, but he was very taken back that the standard was a lot higher than he expected. Like, is the coaching good out there? Or?
Yeah, what I would say is there's definitely more of an industry for sport out there. Like, there's a lot of people full time in their roles. So all the college coaches, assistant coaches, all of those will be full time. So there's so much time to put into the job over there. So like, you go over there and into college and you're training every day. You're in the gym in the evening, so you do 2 sessions a day along with video analysis and stuff like that. So it's a real professional environment for young lads to go into, and that gave me the scope to I suppose improve so much over the 4 years there. And then look, I was lucky enough to sign a professional contract over there and see that side of it as well. And the standard was really, really good in the USL over there, and it's actually very difficult to compare to the League of Ireland, because you see certain lads going from the USL to the League of Ireland and they do really well. You see certain lads kind of switch between the two and they struggle. It's just the style of play is so different. I'd say it's much more difficult to compare the standards because of the style of play. Like, it's much warmer over there. The teams keep the ball a lot more. It's not as frantic. It's not as hectic. So it's that's what I'd say with the standard. Is the style of play is so different. It's actually difficult to compare.
And how have you found it since you actually came home? You came home to Galway, wasn't it?
Yeah. So this is my 3rd season back now. So to be honest, at the start, I didn't realise it was going to be such a culture shock again coming back. Like, I knew it was going to be more direct and a lot more physical, but I probably didn't expect it to be as direct and physical as it was. So look, it took me a couple of months to find my feet again, but once I did, it's been really good. And look, the standard in the League of Ireland and the league as a whole is getting better each year. So it was really good to come back to.
And I suppose you've 2. Well, I'm only talking on this year. Well, I know you started the season there with Galway. You 2 madmen overs with John Caulfield and Ollie Horgan from Finn Harps there. Two crazy men, I'd say, in a dressing room.
Yeah, no, the 2 lads are great. In fairness to them, there's never a dull day with them. But it is. It can be quite a scene on the sideline. But no, they are excellent. In fairness, and both really down to earth and nice fellas as well.
You went on loan into Cobh. How did that come about? Was that something you looked for, or was something you were told you had to do? And what's your plans maybe for next year? Are you hoping to get back in with Galway? They're going back up to the Premier now. Are you hoping to stay with them, or what is the plans for yourself?
Yeah, I suppose it's hard to say. I think I played 16 games in the first half of the season for Galway, and I wasn't getting in regularly. And I sat down with John and we decided, it's probably best for me to go until the end of the season and get regular starts, and that's what I've been doing at Cobh. So it's paid off, I suppose. In terms of next year, it's one of those that it's the joys of being a League of Ireland footballer. You don't know what club you're going to be at. You don't know what country you're going to be in. So it'll be now November, December when I kind of really start to look at that. And look, I could end up anywhere, to be honest with you. I don't know.
Yeah.
That include Wexford, Mikey.
As I said, I could end up anywhere.
You're not ruling anything out.
You can't rule anything out. Look,
I heard the checkbook is big out there these days, Mikey.
We'll see at the end of the year what comes about. But as I said, I wouldn't rule anything out.
Yeah, look, you have a promotion playoff to look forward to with Cobh. So look, we'll wish you all the best with that, and we'll chat to you again in the new year when you decide where you're going to be next year. Thanks, Mikey.
Thanks, Mikey.
Lad. Cheers.
See you, Mikey.
See you, Mikey.
All right. Bye.
And we're going to look at next week's fixtures. We're going to start off with O'Neill's Premier Division. Crossabeg and Wexford Bohs. You want to go to that one, Doddser, and how will you feel looking at it and have to stay quiet? Or will you stay quiet?
It's going to be a strange one for me because it's going to be my first game. I haven't even seen the lads train. I haven't seen them in any games at all due to clashes in times and stuff like that. So I'm hoping to make it out Sunday morning. Young lad has a game in Carlow. I'm hoping that's in the afternoon, but I haven't got the time on that yet. But I'm hoping to make it out to the game. It's going to be unusual for me. I had a very bad experience in Crossabeg last year, as in Garden said, a very good Wexford Bohs performance from 2-0, 3-1 up. We lost the game 5-4. And it wasn't a great experience. So I just hoping Nicky has his boys ready for a battle going out there.
Well, he did say it earlier in the show. I think he gave you a dig on that one.
I suppose this weekend in all the divisions as we go down through them, a lot of clubs are going to suffer with the GAA being in the knockout stages. Will Bohs struggle with Malin Towns and St John's Raymond as well, don't they?
They will. They have 4 lads with the Marys and Malin Town. I think the Sarsfields got knocked out last week when Nicky said one of them are injured. Then they have PJ involved with Horswood and Tiernan Rossiter then involved with St Mary's and Rosslare. And then they've also got Ian Cardy involved with Timon. So he has, quite a few lads to come back into it. But that's the kind of game where you need everybody in battle form, and it's just not an easy place to go. We played Crossabeg 3 times last year. Beat him handy enough down in our place, 3-0 in the league. The next game was out there, it was 2-2, and we won an extra time in the FAI, I think it was. And then we lost 5-4 out there in the league as well. So it's not an easy place to go.
It is one thing. Crossabeg are improving. Each year they are getting that little bit stronger, that little bit better.
I suppose this week the Crossabeg don't have a football match during the relegation.
Do you remember the time they beat him, Nicky, out of the cup?
Oh yeah, 4-1 was it? It
was 1-0.
1-0. Davy fell in free kick in 90 minutes.
Yeah.
Well, it'd be interesting what the Crossabeg players will do this week.
Look, when you're around as long as I was, you will have a few shocks.
10 years, that's not long. Told you that before.
Yeah, within the top division. 20 years and you're flirting.
You get played by a lot of lower division teams in the cup, don't you?
No, only 2. That's it.
It's 2's enough. Move on in for Celtic North End. I was looking forward to this game until Doddser told me earlier that Fort Celtic mightn't have the Martin boys at the weekend. That'll be disappointing, I think, for them, and I think they could have a right go at this if they had everyone.
It is disappointing, and it's it's nobody's fault that the fixture fall this way, but it is like we talked about North End, we talked about their strength and depth earlier on in the show, and I think there's only 3 teams in the league that can really put the North End in particular games this season. And Fort Celtic are one of them, and it's unfortunate that for the league that this fixture is going to fall without the Martins lads. But look at Chris has built a good squad up there over the last couple of years, and in fairness, they play a decent enough football. They're a good attacking side, and look at I don't know what sort of side he's going to have out on Sunday. I did hear that the Martins lads were asked not to play in the game, so that would definitely sabotage the squad quite a bit for such a big game.
Yeah, look, definitely, and like Fort Celtic, to be honest with you, actually, Fort Celtic are a small bit of a bogey team for North End, I think. A few years ago when we won our second league title, Aidan, when we won our second, it was actually Fort Celtic beat North End, or drew with North End, should I say, in a fixture. We were playing down in Campile, and we came off the pitch, we were told Fort Celtic were to beat, man. That result came out of absolutely nowhere. So, look, Fort, they're one of them teams who normally do put it up to North End. So like I was talking to Chris at the start of the season. Who did they play in the first game? Gorey, and they were missing a massive amount of numbers, and they still got the result there. So I wouldn't fear them going North End having to go down. while North End are playing really, really well. Fort are not playing too bad either, so I think it should be a good game.
Yeah, the next game is a Scardy Derby. I suppose, Nicky, this was supposed to be on last week, so me and you spoken of about that last week, so maybe leave it to Doddser to tell us what he thinks about this game.
I was looking at the table last night, and I've heard some of the rumours of players moving clubs and stuff like that up in Enniscorthy this year, and you'd have to fancy mind to win the game. Looking at the Shamrock Rovers result against North End, they didn't seem to have any fight in their bellies in that one at all. But look at Shamrock Rovers with 3 points on the board. It's hard to beat North End. Maybe Shamrock Rovers can bounce back this year. I'm not really sure of the kind of squad that Kane has. He's probably going to keep with the youth system, knowing Kane in and along the line, but he certainly will need some of the experienced heads to put their hands up this week and join in against the likes of the Mine, because I'm sure in the Scardy Derby, and if some of the Mine players that are switching over there, they're not wanting to go and roll over in this derby, they're going to want to win this one. So
I know hopefully there'll be a little bit of fun and games in the game, and hopefully the Rovers lads will be able to just stick in with them, because that Mine team now are flying at you.
Oh man, Nicky. Next game is Bunclody and Ferns. I fancy Ferns in this one myself. Ferns haven't played a couple of games since the first game of the season. I think they've played. They haven't been out in the outside competitions either.
No, do you know something? I actually fancy Bunclody in it. I don't know. I have a feeling for Bunclody in it this week. I was quite impressed. They had a good win the weekend. Now I know they were beaten by North End, but they've great numbers from what I hear up training and things like that. And Ferns haven't started the season yet, so I think maybe Bunclody might just about catch him on the hop, because I think Ferns might be cold, but it could be a feisty one. And the last game in the O'Neill's Premier Division is Gorey against Campile. You surprised, Doddser, with Gorey's slow start in the league?
I was very impressed with Gorey last season. I was a bit disappointed in how they finished the cup semi-final against North End. I thought they dominated big parts of that game. I thought they should have seen it out to miss some serious chances towards the end. And North End do what North End did. They came back into the game, won it, went on and won the Wexford Cup. I thought Breslin was probably the best player in Wexford last year. I know Murphy got the player of the year. I thought Breslin was outstanding, and especially the couple of games against us. He was running that line on his own up there. He was dropping deep. He was hard to handle.
I really thought he was underrated, Doddser.
He's a serious loss to that team. Now you come out and you start there. You'd have to question what's being said in the dressing room up there, and you'd have to question the lads' desire this year. Into that, it is a slow start. You can't give that kind of ground up to North End. North End know they've lost the league. They want it back. Do you know what I mean? If they get on a run, Gorey have to stop that as soon as possible. And if they're not stopping North End's run, they have to keep up on their tails, and it's as simple as that. So they're already 7 behind.
Yeah.
They're already 7 behind.
Oh, the big games in hand, obviously. But
yeah, they have the games in hand, but
their form has to change drastic.
3 points the most this week. It's as simple as that.
And they didn't have a game last week. The game was called off, so I'm sure Willie was disappointed with that. Collection called it off the morning of the game, so they'll be cold. But look, you would fancy him to get 3 points at home to Campile.
You don't know what kind of side Brad is going to have. Horswood are out on Saturday. If they lose, will the Horswood lads turn up for him? The likes of Jamie Myler in the squad would be a big addition to Brad going up there, but still, you think if Brad went up there with a full squad, just out of Division 1. Young Harris, I thought, was a big addition to Campile last year. He has a serious hamstring injury at the minute, so he's a bit of a loss.
We'll move on then to the 4-star pizza Division 1. We've Rosslare versus Courtown, Bridge Rovers versus North End, Glenbarton versus All Blacks, Shelburne versus Clopon. Should be a tasty affair, and I suppose the game of the week in that one will be Cobh Ramblers at home to New Ross Celtic.
Yeah, I think so too. You know, as we said, the Clopon Shelburne one could be helter-skelter. There's not too far away from each one of them, but you would expect Cobh Ramblers now to start getting a squad together, and they're kind of two clubs that I think could be edging towards the top of that table. Yeah, I just hope too that All Blacks are held a field team this week. They're probably unfortunate enough they're being caught with 3 or 4 GA clubs, the Finton, St Mary's, Kilmore, so hopefully they can get out there this week, because I think they have a lot to say in that division. Yeah, definitely, but look, it'll be interesting to see. And we've the Apex Division 2. We've Wexford Celtic versus Killarney, Coraclow versus Enniscorthy United, Tom Brack versus Wexford Bohs, Kilmore versus Fort Celtic, and I'd say Joseph versus Rantanure. I'd say there'll be plenty of goals in this one, the way Rantanure have started the season. Definitely. Talking to a few of the Joseph's lads, they're concerned now that Rathnure are getting a head start on them. They would have fancied themselves to try and compete in that league. So they're playing catch up to Rathnure now at the minute. So yeah, that's one that Joseph still have to win.
And we 4 games in the TJ Murphy's Division 3. Timon versus Mine, Gorey Celtic, Duncannon, Ilgate and Escarty Town, and Shamrocks and Ballymurn. I suppose Shamrocks Ballymurn is a top of the table clash. I know it's early, but how do you think that one will go?
And look, there won't be much to it. I'd kind of, on paper, you'd have to fancy Ballymurn. Even though the Rovers lads have started really, really well, Rovers lads are home, so they're not going to give anything easy either. In
Division 3, we've Bree, who started well again. Cushenstown, I suppose he sticks out there as a game. Federal will be trying to bounce back in New Ross Town, who've on and off start to the season.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. So, just you caught me on that one, Aidan. I thought we were going to go on further, but no, look, Bree look like the boys to catch up on that, yeah.
Division 4 then, we've Cormus, Curraclough, the Balloch versus Rosslare, Cairn versus Rossburkin, Cabolan versus Goya Rangers, and Kilbon versus Ferns. Any game stick out there for you, Doddser?
The Rosslare Rangers versus the Balloch, it's like Rosslare Rangers' first team obviously just struggled last year. It was a horrendous season for them, to be honest with you. But you see how Nordane or how Rosslare competing with the likes of Nordane's B team in Division 1, how they're going to compete, and then how they're going to field teams down in Division 4 at this. Do you know what I mean? Like I was at the Mary's Rosslare game, the Mary's Rosslare GA game on Friday night, and sure, half the Rosslare team is there, so I don't see how they're even feeling the team down at this level. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and the Balloch got a sack of goals 2 weeks ago. They scored 7, so it'll be interesting to see how that one goes. All right.
And then we've the Butcher's Best Division 4A. Any game there, Nicky, that you'd fancy going seeing?
No. No. Enniscorthy United, Joseph's. There's always a bit of like Enniscorthy United is a tough little ground to go into. But I think that there's a little bit of history between them a few years ago. So, if I can remember correct, maybe I'm wrong. So maybe that one.
Our lads are flying in that division. The Mick Mac, he used to manage me.
That's your third team, isn't it?
That's our third team. Yeah, Mick Mac used to manage me. He made a comeback after about 25 years of retirement, back in to manage the third team. So, best luck to him in that one.
Aidan's after faking up to IFAD now.
I need help. Move on then to Division 5. We have Wexford Celtic versus Castle Dockrell. Castle Dockrell are seem that they're getting their act together now and getting everyone back from the GA. They look like the team that could, after their youth win the Premier last year, be the team in this division.
Yeah, definitely. The one I'm going to look at is the All Blacks team, to be honest. So if their first team were struggling, maybe Camolan might pick up a couple of points in this one this weekend. So that one will be interesting to see how that fixture comes out.
Yeah, we've Rathnure versus Fastnet, Gorey Celtic versus Tom Brack, Cobh Ramblers versus Ferns, and Bree versus Adamstown. So there's plenty of games for people to get to this week in Wexford football and get out there and support all your local teams if you can. Now we have Brian Lynch taking on the Pizza Challenge to try to knock Mr. Duffy from Ross Celtic off it.
Hello, my name is Brian Lynch and I'm delighted to take part in the 4-star Pizza Challenge this week representing Shelburne United. I think you have to lose it to Duffy again, yeah. I think so. I think so.
unfortunately, there, Nicky Bryan, he's not going to the top of the table. He's going to the bottom of the table. I thought he was going to do it there. He had 5 in 15, but then struggle after that.
Yeah, fucking 22 attempts, I think, was it after that for the small pizza box. So, look, great effort. Maybe if he'd showed a bit of enthusiasm, he might have done it a little bigger. For sure. Look, it's a tough challenge. I wouldn't do it in 37. How about you, Doddser?
I'd say do it in 20.
Would you? No. We're down in Wexford Bohs next week, lads, so we know where we're going.
Division 1, there should be all doing it in 15.
Oh, yeah. So, fair play, as I said, to 4-star pizza. Tell me this, Aidan, was there a 4-star pizza in Dubrovnik?
No, wasn't, Nicky.
I thought you were eating 1 or 2 of them there now when you were away.
I had a good time, all right, yeah. Just before we finish up, when we have Doddser, it's been your Wexford Youths going well, the 2 great wins.
Wexford FC.
Or Wexford FC, sorry, Tony. 2 great wins at the weekend. It looks like I think they only need 3 points now from the last 4 games to guarantee their playoff.
Yeah, it's going well. It's we were all a bit suspect at the start of the season into how it was going to pan out, and they've got to the playoff places now, and Galway kind of ran away with the league, and sure you'd kind of expect that after the start they had, and Waterford went well at the start, so like Wexford are doing as well as expected really, and like, they're younger teams, they're 19s, they're 17s, right down along there, they seem to be all.
Yeah, it goes for me. It just shows stay patient with the manager. I think Nicky wanted him sacked if you go back through the shows after game 2. So he's proved him wrong now. Yeah.
I wouldn't say that. Well, he hasn't gotten promoted yet either. But I think he took my advice. He's a little bit more enthusiastic on the line now. But no, look at it. In fairness, they've gone on a great run. The young squad, and actually last night's win was massive for moving them up in 4th, because that means that they won't meet Waterford if they stay in 4th position. So obviously Waterford will be one of the favourites to win that playoff. So I think they could potentially meet, I think it was Cobh, is it? If the tables stay the way they are, they'll play the 3rd place team, and then who knows, in a one-off game then to beat Waterford to get into another playoff, to beat it looks like Cork City. So look at They've more chances of not getting up than getting up, but they've done a great job, in fairness, down there in turning it around in a short space of time. It
looks great for the county, and I think we can all look forward to the playoffs now. I just want to say thanks, Doddser, for coming in. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Pleasure's all mine, lads. Thank you very much for inviting me in.
Cheers for that, Doddser.
All right, cheers, man. See you next week.
Much.
Good luck.